Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. I'm Councillor John Dennis and I'm chairing today's committee. Within the meeting today, we also have members of the committee and officers. Please ensure mobile phones are switched to silent to avoid any disruption during the meeting. And also, while you are not speaking, can you put yourself on mute if you have not already done so? Fire procedure. If the fire alarm sounds, attendees will be directed where to go. Please follow the instructions given by officers. So on to the meeting. This is the Licensing Act 2003 committee meeting this afternoon, the 23rd of October 2024 at 2 p.m. Declarations of pecuniary and non-pecuniary and prejudicial interests. Anyone? No declarations, thank you. To approve as a correct record the minutes of the committee meeting held on the 26th of March. Moved, yeah. Seconded, anyone? Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favour? Thank you. To item number 3 is Licensing Act 2003 subcommittee to receive minutes of the meetings of the subcommittee held on the 21st of March, 29th of April, 10th of May, 13th of June, 18th of June, 24th of June, 25th of June, 5th of September and 16th of September as placed at group offices and public deposit points. Do we accept or receive those minutes? Yep, all in favour, thank you. Item number 4, which is the main agenda item for today, is the implementation of a new pavement licensing policy. A report of the Executive Director of Communities and Environment on pages 2 to 29 of your notes, which I presume you've read. Anything to add to that?
Would you like me to outline it? Or...
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. If you just.
Thank you, Chair. So before members today, you have the new pavement licensing policy. As an authority, we have been granted permissions to use the public highway for cafe culture since 2010, and we issued those permissions under the Highways Act of 1980. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a big push for the use of outdoor spaces for people to eat and drink and to also encourage businesses to keep trading during those difficult times when restrictions were in place. The Business and Planning Act was therefore introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic, which gave temporary legislation which allowed an expedited process to apply for the use of the highway and to grant those with a sort of a quicker process and a lower capped fee by central government. Across England, the use of the outdoor spaces was very well received, which resulted in the government extending those temporary permissions by another 12 months, giving them time to create a permanent framework that would replace the provisions under the existing Highways Act of 1980. So in April of 2024, under the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act, the temporary provision under the Business and Planning Act of 2020 was amended and enacted as permanent legislation. The new legislation means that the provisions for businesses now gives permissions for businesses to seek permission to place stalls, carts, tables and chairs on the public highway to provide food and drink for human consumption. Due to that change in legislation, a new licensing policy is therefore required. All applications can no longer be considered under the Highways Act of 1980, and this new policy would aim to set out the East Ryde of Yorkshire Council's position in relation to the applications, imposition of locally set licence conditions and a charging fee structure. The new policy can obviously be seen in Appendix 1 in full at your report. But before any policy is formally implemented or approved, the policy would need to be subject to a public consultation. And this would be for a period of not less than 28 days, which would give the public and businesses the opportunity to feed back on the proposed policy. And it is proposed that, subject to the Cabinet approval, that the consultation could take place between the 1st of November 2024 and the 30th of November 2024. The provisions of cafe culture have been very well received by the public over the years here in the East Riding, and it has supported local businesses in widening their offerings to the public. So we would like to be in a position where we can continue to support cafe culture, and therefore we seek approval today from the committee to consult on the proposed policy and ensure that we can lawfully issue licences tailored for the East Riding moving forward. Following the consultation period, the policy would be brought back before the committee, at which point any responses to the consultation would be fed back. An opportunity to comment further on that policy will be available before it was forwarded to Cabinet for formal approval. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Louise. Any queries, any points to make at all on what's just been said? Yes,
Sorry, Chair.
okay.
It was just, I mean, it's a well document. There's a brilliant document. My only concerns maybe whether at this stage is when we talk about all the aspects of it, have we got enough staff in the East Riding Council to be able to oversee this individual businesses abiding by those rules? I know, would you only get called in when there was a problem, or would you have you got the staff to go out and sort of implement it all?
The likelihood is that the number of businesses who are currently already operating the cafe culture wouldn't significantly increase, but a lot of those permissions are issued under the old 1980 Highways Act, and as soon as they expire, they will have to convert over to the Business and Planning Act. So I don't see there being any additional resources needed on top of what the licensing team already offer. And that is, we consider everything from the application through to the grant and then the compliance of the license once it's been issued. So I don't see the resources being a further issue at this time.
Anyone else? Yes, okay.
Thank you. Just to say basically that I think it's a very well worded, comprehensive document, and I think it's as it is. It looks very good. I think the crucial time will be when it goes out to consultation and see what businesses have to say and see how it will affect them. But I'm perfectly happy the way the procedure is at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, I'd just like to say that I concur with my colleague. It's a lovely document, easy to understand, etc. One query I had, which might be a little inappropriate, I'm not sure, but is dancing included in any of this? Is that a difference?
No, this is about providing the facility to people for people to purchase food and drink and consume it. So you could get what you'd see now, which is the sort of standard cafe culture look. So your tables and chairs outside on the public highway, or you could, for example, get a stall that maybe come out and sell food outside of a premises in a sort of the initial sort of frontage area. Things like that may be requested, but it would just be the provision of food and drink for human consumption, nothing beyond that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? Yes, please.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. It reads as if it's a legal document. So when we say a consultation, is there sort of no movement on that anyway? If businesses were resoundingly against an element of it, is there any movement on that, or is it a legal document sort of set and we're really promoting that?
The simple answer to that is a little bit of both. So there is within the legislation prescribed national conditions, which must be appended to every license that's granted. And those are about around sort of accessibility and not blocking the highway. And the second one is about a smoke-free provision. But anything on top of that is locally set conditions. So there is an element of the consultation will need to look at whether those locally set conditions would cause any great difficulty, whether they're enough, whether anything more needs adding or anything needs considering as to whether it should be there. And obviously the fee charging structure, although they are capped through the legislation, the actual individual charging structure is unique to the East Riding.
Thank you. Anyone else? No further comments, thank you. So
It's just a case of whether you'd like to approve the document as it stands, Chairman, or whether there's any additional comments you wish to add for the licensing officer to consider. But if you're happy with the document, then it's just to recommend it to go forward to the Cabinet as a documentation for consultation on during the, was it 1st November to 30th November?
Brief microphone. We're happy for this to go forward to Cabinet? Yes, yes. Okay. So I think we'll do the job done. Okay.